Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to present to you a man that's been a sports journalist for over 15 years. He's done it all, written for New York Times, Sportsnet, and now he's at the game day. I want to present to you guys Pat Pickens. Pat, thank you for joining me today.
Great to be here. How are you today?
I'm doing well, sir. So I want to start things on the front side. What are your favorite teams?
It's funny how that evolves. I grew up a Yankee fan, a Giant fan, a New Jersey Devils hockey fan, and a Nets fan. The Nets stuff sort of toggled between Nets. Knicks. I've been sort of a bandwagon basketball fan in and out of eras, but I've sort of always feel like I've come back to the Nets historically. Um, the Yankees have really been the team that I follow very closely. Continue to follow them very closely. I think that there's a lot that goes in with that. Growing up, we watched them every night. I continue to really watch them every night. They're sort of unwatchable at this point, but it's one of those times where it was my summer. My summer was baseball every night, Yankees every night usually. And when the Yankees were over, I'd go to ESPN and put Baseball Tonight on and follow what was going on around the league. So baseball really was the first sport, was my first real sporting love. And I got into, and the Yankees have been historically the team. Baseball is one of the few sports I haven't covered up close. So I've been able to still remain a fan of them. Even though I can be really objective and unbiased with the Yankees in a lot of ways, but yeah, they've been my team really forever. I mean, the Giants too, also, but football has been more like a league-wide follow thing as opposed to the Yankees being the team that I'm really the most passionate about fan-wise.
Did you always knew that you wanted to work in sports media or you wanted to be an athlete first? So tell me um how it all led to this.
Yeah, I always say that it was I wanted to be a broadcaster. It's really how it all started. And I really wanted to do play by play for was really the goal. Once I realized I could, was not going to be the right fielder, center fielder for the Yankees. Once I realized I was not going to be an NFL lineman or basically, like you said, once the goal was always to be in sports to some degree. I always say that sports has sort of been a vocation. It's been like a calling. In terms of media, and I've always known I wanted to do. Like I said, I wanted to do play by play at first. Didn't really know how to get the path to there. And I know it's a competitive business. Sports media is a competitive business. But I got in college at Sacred Heart University, and I took a class on sports writing, and it was writing for a student newspaper, which very widely read. For a newspaper in 2006, 2007, that era. And my professor said I had talent and sort of wanted to foster some of that talent. And I knew media. I really, like I said, the goal was to be play by play and to broadcast. But I had seen what PTI had been an influence on that. Those guys were columnists and sports writers, and I saw that they could transition from broadcast to or from print to broadcast. And 24 Nizer, I think, was joining Monday Night Football back around then. So I figured, it's start with writing, and it sort of turned out this way to be the proper way to go about it. But people have said, it's hard to get into broadcast without being a good writer, and so I really went into that writing realm, and like I said, covered a beat. The first beat I had was the Sacred Heart University men's hockey team, which really sort of fed the hockey buzz, and then I columnist covering the school sports, which really set me up. But yeah, I've always said that media and being a sports media member and has been like I said, like a calling, something that I really haven't been able to shake. And as a writer, and the writing has been one of those things that the writing really was. Wherever my career has gone, there's always been a path there, for whatever reason. Like you mentioned some of the places I've been and written for. And there's always just been that path has opened up. Even if I wanted, considered other options, more broad options, less sporty options, the sports and the writing and the media, it's all sort of has lined up historically, and that's sort of how it all worked out. But yeah, it's definitely something that has been. It definitely was. I knew very early on I wanted to be in sports and sports media, and the writing part of it really came on later in college, and that's where it sort of took off.
That's impressive. And like I said, I see that you work for New York Times as sportsnet. But let's quickly talk about game day. You're the senior sports writer there. How's the culture like working there?
It's funny because I've worked. You mentioned some of the places I've worked, and a lot of places, a lot of high-profile places. New York Times, Bleacher Report, USA Today, still string for the Associated Press, and New York, NHL.com, and MLB Advanced Media. Some of these places that I've worked or written for, and the culture at the game is probably the best I've experienced, because there's a lot of, it's a pretty young, pretty vibrant, pretty exciting way of doing things. A lot of, it's funny. I was thinking about this when I was prepping for this. I was thinking about how, I'm not the young guy on the block anymore. I'm in my late 30s and have done this for a long time, written the book and put together a lot of, written a lot of things for a lot of places. And there's a lot of people in my company that are younger than me, that are less experienced than me, but they're really energetic. They're really excitable. They really, a lot of sports writers tend to get cynical about some of the games and teams. And, I mentioned the Yankees and how, they're really not making it fun for fans or for anybody right now. And yet you get around people who are really excitable about different, certainly the betting aspect of it, but also they're fans. They want to be fans, and they're fans first, and it's really sort of reignited some of that excitement and some of that fun, the fun that comes with sports. That sometimes gets lost when you're on deadline and something stupid or silly happens that screws up your running game story, or because there are ways, and the betting has been, I've said along, I sort of mentioned that at the end of my college career, I came out and started working in a newspaper, and everybody told me, you're not going to have a career in 10 years because papers are dying. You're going to have to get in digital. And then I got hired by the Game Day in December 2021, and it was really on the front end of the gambling stuff. Obviously, I'm in New Jersey, where they were at the front end of the sports gambling stuff, and it always has such a seedy connotation, but it's now becoming so mainstream, and it's right there as part of the games. And to be on the front end of that, it's been really unique, where again, people said I wasn't going to have a career in 10 years, and now 15 years later, I was on, starting at a company, a really exciting young company that's doing a lot of great things and getting making a lot of great progress. And I'm on the front end of that, writing some of that stuff, some of the analysis. And then we just launched some 4 new editorial verticals covering baseball, basketball, hockey, and football. So that's been really fun. And, really putting some of that, the analysis really puts some of that, some of the narrative crafting, but it's really obviously very data driven, where you look for trends and you spot where teams are good in certain aspects and certain teams are not good in certain aspects. And really, the other thing too is I've spent a lot of the past decade covering hockey, and what the Game Day has been really empowered me to do is to branch out beyond that. There have been, I had previously sought out other opportunities, and everyone said, no, you're the hockey writer. You cover the NHL, and we don't know that we trust you to do more than that. I went to the Game Day, and they said, okay, write football, write baseball, write basketball, but obviously you also own hockey. So it's been really exciting, really empowering, and again, to feel this energetic about my career this far into it, when a lot of people are, anxious. I mean, there's obviously angst about being in sports media, and you see the headlines, you see where the industry is going. It still feels, there's always some, I've been, let go of a couple places, and you always get that twinge of angst whenever there's a meeting called or some sort of, sit down, especially if it's on a Friday. You're like, oh God, what's going to happen? But it seems like we're on real solid footing, and it seems like we're really growing, and things are getting better every day. And I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Last question, where can we follow you and your work?
So yeah, so I my social media has been pretty been hit and miss because I have kids and I dedicate a lot of my non-working time to them. But Twitter is really the best place, or I'm still going to call it Twitter, is the best place to follow me. I'd say at Pat_Pickens. I'm on Instagram at by Pat Pickens, but it's I like to post my stories there and the analysis there, and so I'll do that. I usually put the links in there, but those are the two places that I would say go follow and because those are the ones that I update when I have the time. But yeah, so that's Instagram by Pat Pickens and Pat_Pickens on Twitter.
Pat, thank you so much for taking time to do this interview with me. Best of luck on everything. Continue to do impressive work at where you're working. I'm looking forward to see more. And I definitely want to check out. You say you wrote a book, right? So where is it on Amazon?
Yeah, the Whalers. It's a history of the Hartford Whalers NHL team. It took me 10 years to write. So yeah, it's on Amazon. It's called The Whalers. Just by me, and came out in 2021. But yeah, history of the Hartford Whalers NHL team that now the Carolina Hurricanes.
Great. That's amazing, man. I'll definitely be checking that out. There you have it, folks. Pat Pickens, experienced sports journalist over 15 years. And like I said, man, just keep doing what you're doing. There's nothing much more than wake up every day doing what you love. So salute you, man. Best of luck.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day.